Dunk.
How we doing, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? Infail here with another memes build. Now, this one was me stubbornly trying to make defensive auras work. Now, it does, but it just isn't that powerful. It just needs a bit more. Now, if I just explain defensive auras a little bit. So, with these, the cold damage percent is like a facet. Yeah, so it adds to anything. So your cold damage, cold skills, cold proc skills, etc. So me and my infinite wisdom decided to cobble together as much skills as possible, stick on a frost wind, and try and make Arctic Blast work using these kind of skillers, because I did find a bunch of these, but then I also traded for a bunch, went mental, and I built a fire version. So I was using the unique Zweihander for the combustion, fireball, and firewall proc, and using the two-handed holy sword. I was sacrifice, zeal, and charge, a little bit of everything, and it was working. But when I got my Torch and Annie, I hadn't finished specking my skills and stats, and I went in to test it against Bloodraven in Hell, and I got pummeled by the revived zombies. So that was stupid. So then I went on to build a cold version, as I said, with aforementioned Frostwind, and when I couldn't get that to connect with the Arctic Blast, I did actually have a 3-socket Slam Nord's Tenderizer. I started off with that as a proc and tested it, and thought it was pretty weak. So then I moved around the block, and I had Rift for the Frozen Orb proc. I had Eaglehorn for the Raven proc. Endless Hail to proc Blizzard at range. I even had a Pluck Eye. I've got a 3-socket Pluck Eye. I just muled it. And I was shooting cold arrows even. All of it to no avail. And I came back around again to this build. We'll start with the gear then, seeing as we're talking about it. So Nord's Tenderizer. It's only an 18% chance to cast Blizzard, but wow, 32 Blizzard with all the cold stuff we have going on. When it triggers hard. But it's very inconsistent because of the way it lands. It lands sort of just in front of you, but not quite around you. So monsters, will only get hit in sort of that shape, roughly, in front of you. And it has to stack up a lot, for it to really do the damage. So 1 minute you could be crying because you're going really slow. The next minute, blizzards are going off everywhere. The whole screen gets rinsed. I did also, just to sidetrack a minute, experiment with just me being like a green goblin and buffing a cold Act 3 cold mercenary. So he had Death's Fathom, all pieces of cold equipment like Snow Clash, things like that, another Night Wings on him. Again, it worked well, but Act 3 mercenaries are so derpy, they don't shoot fast enough with the blizzards and things, and they're very, very squishy. So I abandoned that too. So yeah, I came back round to this. So we've got Nords. I was lacking Leech, so I actually put a Skull in it, didn't need the speed. So that it's very fast weapon. You get the Freezes Target, which is really useful. It's very safe. Freezes Target +4. So that has a hidden seconds timer, which just keeps the target in place while you pummel it. Just good bonuses all round, really. The Cold Absorb, if you roll max like I did and get 15%, you're untouchable to cold stuff. Everything cold is completely just nullified. Yeah, so great weapon. We'll do a demonstration in a minute. So Night Wings for the 2 dual skills to buff your resist cold aura, cold skill damage to give your Blizzard some damage. Again, if I had a 3-socket version of this, I'd slam it full of facets instead of an Again, this is a very janky memes trash gear. If you want to invest money into it, I can talk about that in a minute. Seraph's Hymn, because it's +4 to the resist cold aura, plus some damage and AR to demons and undead. It's a great amulet. Again, rubbish slam, crazy mode, we'd have a +1 skill slam there. Herald of Zakarum, for obvious reasons. 2 dual skills is great. 2 to combat skills on top, wow. So Zeal, which is what we're using to proc the Blizzard fast, gets, you know, 4 to Zeal, and loads of other lovely bonuses there, blocking, strength, vitality, resistances. I only managed to go all of a 2-socket one. Again, you'd have a 3-socket one full of ums. But again, I'm cheap and poor. Tear Haunch, I actually needed the poison res on this because they're slammed. I'll just move it a brief minute. Yep, mine are slammed for 15 extra poison res because I needed it. You know, and they're only +1 to vigor, sadly, as well. I've got 2/2s with great slams on them, but I needed the poison res. So again, if I had a 3-socket one, I could have my GG ones on instead. I'm just going to move a minute because my mercenary is, you know, give me an epileptic fit. Dwarf Star for the MDR fire absorb, but the attack rating, you want to be able to hit as much as possible, so you want to proc, you know, the chance to proc the blizzards. Snow Clash, again, AR slam for the same reasons, got to get them hits in. Max cold res is nice, but you're wearing it for the +2 to cold skill, so you can maximize your resist cold aura. Random ring, strength to help get your gear on. AR, you know, mana, and bit of resistances, nothing crazy there, just filling gaps. And then lastly, soul drainers, which I hate wearing in town because I don't like the drain, but yeah, they're great because, you know, you want to bring down bosses. You know, you've got a lot of AR here, but you want bosses' defense to be brought down as much as possible so you get the hits so you can proc the blizzards again. That's why I wear these. It's useful for that. Monster defense, minus monster defense per hit. And here we have Call to Arms in a Holy Shield War Scepter, because the points are spread a bit thin in this build. So you want to try and get as many into Holy Shield as possible, and obviously more life and mana is great. The usual switch weapon, of course, for me. We've got the old teleport weapon, and I've actually got the amp hotkeyed. You can't see it because it's behind my big fat head. But yeah, so amp against those cold immunes and teleporting. I love spell steal. It's just a great thing. Okay, so that's the gear. We'll go over charms next. So yeah, lots of defensive skillers to up that cold percentage damage for the proc on Blizzard. Some lifey boys, Annie and Torch. And then we've got a couple of really nice cold skill damage lifers here, which I'll be pulling out very soon because, as I say, I'm converting this character to lightning. I just wanted to show you guys the cold version. Right, so that is the gear. Let's go over the mercenary. As I said, I'm just using a Immortal King's Barbarian. I'm using the Might Aura Barbarian to boost up physical stuff for me, and he takes care of anything with his massive amounts of elements on his weapon. I did start off with a Act 2 Defiance Mercenary with Reaper's Toll. I also have a Bill, which procs lower resist on striking you can use. You can also have the Barbarian Mercenary with Rapture, the new rune word. Or you can go expensive and have an Act 2 Mercenary with Infinity, or an Act 4 Mercenary with the healing, or casting amp for you, Dark Act 4 Mercenary that is, with an Infinity Staff. Because I'm right in there and getting in the thick of things, you know, I went for a solid Mercenary. But again, I'll probably change them around. The Mercenaries are all subject to change. It doesn't really matter what they are. I tend to find, like, don't go with the squishy one because their AR is appalling and they'll run straight into melee range, and yeah, unless you're doing crazy damage like my Singer Barbarian, for example, I can have an Act 4 Mercenary in melee range because he doesn't die, because I've got battle orders and, you know, etc. But I digress. Skill-wise, let's go over the skills. So, like I said, they're spread very thin in this one, everybody. So, we have Vigor from the Tear Haunch, so I haven't put a hard point in Vigor because I don't need to. Definitely a hard point in Cleansing. As you can see, it's at 67%. Like, people love you in runs where you're cursed and poisoned and things. You can just flash that on and it's gone. It's crazy good. So I've invested points in Resist Fire, obviously max Resist Cold because it's my main damage, and Resist Lightning, so I could have 90, 90, 90, and then 79 comes from the Guardian Angel. Didn't actually show you guys my armor. Sorry. Terrible. So it's a Guardian Angel full of cold facets. I got excited and skipped around the block, didn't I? So yeah, Guardian Angel with cold facets. Again, they're pretty junky. They're not max ones. It's only 10 to cold skill damage for the blizzards. Again, I could do better. Seeing as we're on stats, my fast hit recovery is terrible, as you can see. But we got crazy blocking, of course. This video's a joke already. So we've got decent attack rating. Defense isn't brilliant, but I do need to do a reskill on this, as I said. So I'll go over the skills and I'll show you where you need to invest, really. So yeah, we got 1 point in salvation because when we're teleporting, I've died too many times from having no resistances and stuff. So I put salvation on left there and teleport on the right so I can move around and not get ganked by souls. Right, so it's just a 1 point investment. But because you have all this and skills and things, it ends up being, you know, a nice amount of res without just for 1 point. So that's the defensive tree. Offensive tree, nothing. Although if you want to build this better, go conviction. As I said, these are very much in need of buffing. The devs really need to look at this in some way. One of the ideas floating around the Paladin for Discord for PD2 is, why don't we make these like mini infinities, but or mini conviction auras, but only for their resistance. And I sort of thought, well, yeah, but no, with that one. That thought needs developing. It, you know, can't be that powerful, but something akin to that, or just buff them greatly. So yeah, combat tree. We've maxed Zeal and Sacrifice because Sacrifice is Zeal's synergy. So we get massive attack rating bonus, massive physical damage. So when the blizzards aren't going off, you're still hitting, it's okay. Joust 1 point for mobility's sake. And then the rest of the points go into Holy Shield for that massive defense. When I was not too concerned about my melee attack, I did have Holy Shield maxed and some in Defiance, and I was a huge tank. So if you don't care about being 90-90-90-90, which I won't be in the next Lightning incarnation of this build, I'm going to pull points out of these. Obviously not the one you're using for damage, but pull points out, max Holy Shield, and get some in Defiance as well, because your defense just goes through the roof. You become a super tank. Right, so we'll do just a quick show you what it's like, sort of things. As I say, we just quickly pile on, do some buffing, get the Nords back on, get the Soul Drainers. Right, and as you can see, we have, well, I'm in the way, but it's a level 43 resist cold aura, so it's a 47% damage buff to a level 32 blizzard with some extra cold skill damage, and stuff like that. So joust in, do some smacks. There we go. There's a blizzard. You know, need a better example here. Come on. Okay, as you can see, it's like a couple of hits, stuff dies. So it's not really a problem. So yeah, we got some blizzards there. As you can see, that was pretty good. Good example. They do some pretty decent damage. I saw that Sven released a video the other day of his barbarian whirlwinding. With Nord's Tenderizers, and it procs crazy amounts of blizzards, and he was saying about how, you know, he's tested all the same weapons as me, Rift, and all that kind of stuff, and I was like thinking, damn, I better get my video out quick before people think I'm copying him. Because I was doing this at the start, damn it. But I digress again. He's not wrong. Oh wow, look at that charm. 6 life or res 5. It's going in the vid. So he wasn't wrong. Like, he tested everything. I tested Dangoon's teaching for the Frost Nova proc. It does proc a lot more because it's a good percentage compared to Nord's Tenderizer, but it's just weak source. The damage isn't as good, in my opinion. Rift, although the frozen orbs are very, very good, the physical damage of Rift is not enough to keep you, like, in melee range. That's why I went with Nord's Tenderizer, because you have a very nice tight damage range. So it's, you know, it's nearly 4 to 5 and good AR, you know, dex, blocking and all that. This is better for being, you know, more of a tank, should we say. You know, if you like the danger and you just got loads of pots, just keep potting through Rift because you don't do enough physical damage to leech. But Rift is nice. I mean, I can show you that difference right now. Why not? Yeah, when you're in town, grab the old vigor. Where's Rift? Where did I put it? There we go. So we'll just go in the Ancient's Way briefly. There we go. See, a nice little frozen orb kicked off there. There we go, another one. Bam. As you can see, it's like they're dying real hard. You put this in a map, and it's hell to pay because you can't physically, you know, there's no physical leech. But it is really nice, you know, to see all the frozen orbs kicking off big time. But I tell you what's better, you know, for Rift is Blade Fury, kicking, Whirlwind, any of those kind of skills where you can get like lots and lots of multiple, you know, very fast attacks off. I mean, Zeal is very fast, but as I said, I just don't like how you're not tanky enough with that one. But yeah, it does the job. It's a fun build. It's memes. As I said, it's not like amazing or anything, but it is fun. But yeah, I'll show you guys soon the lightning version of this. I'm gonna respec him right now before I start my stream, and yeah, there we have it. Cold, 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 cold. And as I say, I hope the devs do something about upping these a bit. I know it's supposed to be a defensive tree, so why are we complaining that, you know, defensive stuff doesn't have enough offensive capability? But you know, these skillers are essentially useless, and I wanted to try and make them work. So yeah, lightning version coming at you soon. Thanks for watching.